Good afternoon, WildEarth, and welcome to Penguin Beach. My name is Byron, and I'm going to be your naturalist for the day. I'm joined behind the camera by Flippy, and we are so excited to be here today to bring you another action-packed episode of Penguin Beach. Of course, we are down here in Betty's Bay at the Stony Point African Penguin and Seabird Colony. Let's have a look and see what the various bird species are getting up to today. The tide is low at the moment, and it has exposed the intertidal zone. And look who we have hanging out on the rocks. We have the little egret, yellow socks. We dubbed yellow socks last week, and just look at those beautiful yellow feet, the diagnostic feature of the little egret. And look how beautiful the plumage is. Look at the plumes coming from the nape. There's plumes on the mantle and on the back. Yellow socks is looking absolutely stunning. It is a beautiful day down here at Betty's Bay. Let's head over to the official weather forecast and what we can expect on site. $16 degrees, that sounds rather chilly to me. Fortunately, we have the northwest wind blowing, and that means that the wind is blowing over the land. So the wind at least is quite nice and warm. We don't have the cool, chilling effect of this frigid Atlantic Ocean currently that we often experience in summer. Yellow socks looks like it is getting ready for the onset of the breeding season. So all those beautiful feathers that you can see, these long elongated feathers, that is the breeding plumage that the little egret attains prior to linking up with a partner and going through the courtship behavior. I really love that elongated plume right on top of the head on the nape. Hello, John, and welcome to the show. It is Penguin Beach time indeed, and how exciting it is. I really love the left wing. We do have a number of penguins around as well that are just hiding in the leeward side of the rocks, hiding from the wind, and they are congregated all very close together at the moment, just keeping the wind off of them. Even though the wind is quite warm, we do know that the air temperature is 16 degrees Celsius, so they are doing their best to stay nice and toasty.
Tingana has been affectionately known as the Duke of Djuma for many years, but his path to the throne was not an easy one. Mvula was a legend from the south.
This is the cat that I'm pretty sure Tingana was sniffing around for. That is Mvula. How exciting is this?
Eventually, Mvula lost, but his young son Quarantine started to push through from the east. At the beginning of 2018, an intruder arrived. His name was Hukamuri.
And the majority of the African penguins down here seem to be enjoying quite a lazy Monday. Mondays are manic for most of us, but not for the African penguin. They are chilling nice and hard down here. I'll be interested to see if we can spot the two juveniles that were attaining their adult plumage. Hello Luke, and welcome to the Penguin Beach Show, and thank you so much for sending in your questions. So Luke would like to know if an African penguin would survive without a colony. So African penguins live in colonies for a number of different reasons. One being that there is safety in numbers, so they would be afforded more protection, especially at land-based colonies like Stony Point and Boulders, which didn't historically occur in the past. And then a colony is an area where penguins will share information. So the food that penguins hunt is mainly bait fish that can have quite a patchy distribution and be very difficult to find in such a vast ocean. They also swim at different depths. So when penguins return from hunting, they share this information with one another so that the colony and the species can be successful. They also come to their colony to breed and mate and to find their partner. So if a penguin is alone, it is likely to have a lower chance of survival and mating successfully. And you will find at colonies like Stony Point, there will be outlying penguins on the very periphery of the colony. I have seen this at Boulders Beach as well, but they will definitely be more successful within a colony. Luke, thank you very much for that very, very interesting question. And Flippy has managed to find one of the, I don't even know what to call this penguin anymore, juvenile or adult. It is right in the transitional phase where it is attaining its adult plumage. And it has been so cool to watch these juveniles go from a full juvenile, lost my words there just for a little bit, but to go from juvenile plumage and looking so nice and plump to attaining their adult plumage over a period of about 3 weeks. How interesting it is to observe this stage of the African penguin's life. And as we are talking about this individual, it's scratching its head with its sharp claws, maybe to get rid of some of the old feathers. A nice little shake of the head there as well. I've noticed that this penguin has positioned itself directly in the middle of the adults, so maybe it is starting to become accepted because it has attained its adult plumage. Generally, you'll find the juvenile African penguins hanging out on the periphery, and that is because the adults can be quite nasty and bully them just a little bit.
This morning we were driving and suddenly we heard a lot of commotion. I think the wild dogs might have caught an impala then, or the leopard might have caught the impala, and as it was dragging it, the wild dog saw it, started chasing the leopard up into the tree, and then the hyenas came to steal it. But what an incredible sighting.
With the traditional stories I've learned that it does have future and a past. If you follow it, you will never ever go wrong in life. It's very important because it contains, of course, the history background and the knowledge of the bush. In every family they have so-called a tree or amarula tree. We'll go there and kneel down and talk to the tree and say, we want success in the family.
Hello, Jasmine, and that is a very interesting question. Jasmine would like to know how penguins protect themselves from small insects on the rocks. So if we look at these penguins and we look specifically at their plumage, you'll notice that their feathers nearly look like scales, so they overlap and cover each other, and they provide this, it's not impenetrable, but they provide a very good insulatory layer that will also help protect the penguin's skin from insects. You'll notice when you watch the penguins that they are often scratching with their sharp claws, or they use their bill to comb through their feathers to get rid of any dust, debris, or insects for that matter. So they'll definitely use their claws and their bills to ensure that no insects bother them. And of course, having feathers that overlock and nearly look like scales. You can just see the feathers shimmering like that, and you can actually see how they crisscross over one another. It definitely helps to keep those pesky insects away. Well, Jasmine, thank you so much for that question. And just look how beautiful this individual is. They must be very comfortable in that position. I don't think they'll move for quite a long time. High tide is only later this afternoon, and the moon is currently at right and is not in a direct line with the earth and the sun, so the tidal movement is very minimal at the moment. We are moving towards a neap tide, and there's only a very small difference in the high and low tide. Moonbeam, hello, hello. Juva adults, I like that. So those two individuals that are molting their feathers, and when they are in that transitional phase, I agree, Moonbeam, definitely Juva adults. So thank you very much for providing me with a term that I can now use in the future. I really, really do love that. Flippy, should we head over and look at that beautiful little egret or yellow socks down there hanging out on the rocks? Its feathers are just blowing in the wind, unlike the penguins. The penguins' feathers don't really blow in the wind, and they are molting, and the feathers are leaving beautiful plumes and white, snow white plumage at the moment. And the little egret is on the move again. The little egret is on the move and has just sat on the rocks. I can watch this little egret's feathers blow in the wind all day. That plumage is snow white, and I must say, probably looks quite attractive. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry, we have just experienced some minor technical issues while we were observing this little egret. And there was a very interesting question asked by Honey Badger. And Honey Badger would like to know about the distribution of the little egret. So they do occur throughout southern Africa, but they are found mostly around water bodies. So it can be along the coast, could be an estuarine environment, or even a freshwater environment. And that is because they eat mainly fish, frogs, and crabs. They are not found in the very, very arid areas of the Kalahari, for example. In Botswana, there is a big white patch which excludes them from that area, indicating that they do not like arid environments. Personally, this is my favorite egret species, and I'm probably biased. It's because I have observed this species for a very, very long time in my life around the coast and around the estuaries.
Ribbon is the matriarch and has recently been seen with injuries to her body. Corky was the previous matriarch and is believed to be taking back her status. Intima was born to Ribbon in February 2017 and also enjoys a high ranking. Heart is the next rank down, and Endangered is believed to be the lowest rank, easily recognizable by a floppy left ear. 3 brothers named the Avoca males arrived in Djuma in 2018. This area had recently been vacated by the Birmingham boys. In 2019, they were seen mating with females from both prides and went on to sire cubs with them. The most recognizable lion in this coalition is Darkmane. Aside from the dark mane that gave him his name, he can be recognized by a distinctive limp.
Completely erect. Hello, Paul, and thank you so much for asking about the foot structure of the little egret. So Paul would like to know if egrets have webbed feet, and they actually don't have any webbing on their feet. So the little egret has 3 toes that face forward and 1 toe that faces backwards. So I've never actually seen a little egret swim. I have seen them run around in shallow water around the rocks and on the sandy shores as well. And they have very, very long legs which allow them to walk through shallow water and to still maintain their body out of the water so they do not get too wet. That foot structure also allows them to perch, so they can perch with those 3 toes forward and 1 toe back. Generally, birds that have webbed feet do not perch. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule as well. It really does depend on how well developed the hind toe is.
In that tree are 2 carcasses. There's a duiker carcass and a waterbuck. Well, it's not as graceful as... He's a bit hesitant because, well, climbing a tree is not the easiest, but he will get up there eventually. So let's see. There he goes. Look at the power in that. That is a massive 500-pound cat that has just climbed a marula tree and is up in there. How cool is this? I don't know how he's going to do it, but let's see.
You can see the hyenas are far more tolerant of vultures than a lion or leopard would be. Occasionally a hyena will bite sort of a couple of tail feathers out of the back of a vulture, but I've never actually seen them, even once they've caught one, actually kill it. Oh, there we go, nearly got him.
We can still see these two individuals just moving very, very slowly on the surface of the water between the kelp heads. Quite difficult to navigate, of course. And this is the only real time that penguins utilize their feet for propulsion. So they do have webbing between their toes and they have very elongated feet. Hello, Benny, and welcome to the show. So, different species of penguins can coexist. We do see this in Antarctica and around the I'm thinking of the name for those islands, but the islands just between Antarctica as well as the African continent, so you will find penguin species coexisting in those areas. Here in South Africa, it's very rare to find another species of penguin other than the African penguin that we are observing today. You will occasionally find a vagrant, could be one of 8 species, and they generally pop up in different areas, some around colonies and around existing penguin colonies, and others just pop up randomly on the coast and are by themselves. But they definitely can coexist. You'll notice if you look around Stony Point that the African penguins here do coexist with a variety of other bird species, as long as the other bird species do not encroach on their personal bubbles or in the area where they are nesting. I really can't think about what those islands are called between Africa and Antarctica. It's completely slipped my mind. Lizzie Cat, hello, hello. And likewise, I also love penguins. I'm so glad to hear that you really enjoy viewing them. They are such fascinating birds, incredible birds, actually the torpedoes of the ocean. And they are just so nice to observe when they are waddling along the shore. There's something that is super cute about an African penguin, and just to also admire their agility in the water. When they get into the water, it is incredible how they propel themselves forward with their flippers. A really, really special species of bird. We're trying to see if the little egret is becoming active again. Hello, Samantha. That is a great question. Samantha would like to know if the yellow feet play a beneficial role to the egret. I can tell you that it's definitely beneficial for us as observers, as an identifying feature. What egrets, and the little egret in particular, does with its feet is it does something called foot pedaling. And I know that most of us have watched Cedric do the Hammerkorp shuffle. So it is something quite similar to the Hammerkorp shuffle, but a little bit more subtle. and the egret will just lift its foot slightly and move its foot in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction to stir up the sediment. But I don't believe that color really has any factor in that. That's more the process of moving the foot around and disturbing any prey items that might be lying still. So I can't think that the color has any benefit to this species of bird, but that is something that I would love to go read up about and see if we can find any literature with regards to this yellowfoot being beneficial. Very, very interesting. I do hope that we get to see some foot peddling in the shallow waters down here. That is such fascinating behavior to watch.
All WildEarth explorers have a chance to join our naturalists in a monthly fireside chat. This is a great way to learn more about our guides, animal characters, and wildlife locations. We would love to hear from you as to the topics that interest you the most. Email us your ideas or tweet using the hashtag WildEarth, and we will be sure to take them into account when planning our evenings around the fire in the future. WildEarth explorers, it's in your nature.
Definitely one of the things that I actually like about winter is hearing the frogs. And look who has come in to the show. Welcome, Mark and Cleopatra and the Crazy Eight. Hello, Miss Smith. And yes, there definitely are amphibians around Penguin Beach. So Betty's Bay, especially this area where we are behind us, there is an extensive wetland system. We are sort of on the edge of it, and we are just starting to hear some of the amphibians calling. I'm going to keep quiet just for a little bit. Let's just listen to these lovely clicking stream frogs. Beautiful, beautiful sounds that we are currently hearing. And as the season goes on, we are likely to hear the calls of southern caco as well as arum lily frogs from this region. We might even get lucky and hear the snoring sound of a western leopard toad. It really does sound like an old man is snoring in his bed. Goes something like this. Quite a fascinating noise, so we'll definitely keep a lookout for any of the amphibians in this region. At the moment they are sitting in very, very thick grass, and I don't have any visual of them. Jeez, that was amazing. Just as the adult Egyptian goose turned, look at that iridescent coloration to its secondary feathers known as the speculum. Beautiful. Tyler, it is very exciting to see them, and it's so cool to see how well they are doing. Mark and Cleopatra have done a fantastic job thus far to keep the chicks safe, and they are growing at quite a rapid rate. I feel like if I don't see them for a couple of days, their size really increases. And I recall looking at these crazy 9, and they were still tiny little fluff balls. They have definitely increased in size since I have last seen them, and they are all hanging. Oh, that was amazing.
My favorite thing about WildEarth are the animals and the interaction and the ability to wait and watch and not rush off. You get to watch their behavior and learn about the individuals. I would like to see the hyenas at the hyena den, and I have. There they are.
Look at that.
If I could be any animal, I would be a cheetah. I would love to run fast.
Our Western Cape coastline is graced with the Cape fur seal. This playful species is curious and entertaining. At Hout Bay Seal Rescue Centre, seals in need are rescued, fed and nursed back to health by our well-trained team of dedicated staff and volunteers. This wonderful legacy of the centre is continued as these protected creatures are rehabilitated and released back into the wild.
Down here at the left wing, so we know where Mom is, where Cleopatra is, and where the crazy 9 are, but where is Mark? I'm searching for Mark on the periphery, keeping an eye on his family. There I can see Mark is all the way across on the rocks. There's a penguin there, Flippy, on the left, and then like just to the right there's Mark, keeping a watchful eye over Mom and the chicks. Very typical of male Egyptian geese to hang back and have a very wide view of the area to detect any danger. Nice to be Mark at this stage, just chilling. Hello, Henry, and welcome to the show. I couldn't quite hear what feathers you are referring to. I don't know if that was silk feathers, and if you are referring to the speculum that I was talking about. If so, those chicks will only develop those feathers when they reach adulthood. I believe that that is what you are referring to. So it's going to take quite a long time for them to develop that speculum, those beautiful colored feathers that you can see every now and again. It flashes when the adults move their wings. They really are beautiful, beautiful feathers, and they cover the length of the primary flight feathers. And they use those beautiful feathers in courtship display. There's also a very nice gathering of heart-lipped gulls in the intertidal zone. I'll just say that they are loafing currently, not showing too much activity. Of course, some penguins photobombing the shot as well. You can hear the chicks calling from the nest that we are close to on the left wing as well. So these are African penguin chicks. Let's have a listen and see if we can pick up the vocals while we observe these heart-lipped gulls loafing on the shoreline. Can just hear those chicks vocalizing very, very softly from inside this nest. Penguins are coming in and out of the shot amongst the heart-lipped gulls, not wanting to be outdone, reminding us that they are, in fact, the stars of the show down here at Stony Point. And with this low tide, they are having to travel quite a far distance on land. If the tide was high, they would get out of the water just where all the kelp is lying and make their way up towards the nesting areas. This low tide makes them work a little bit harder, and they have to walk a little bit further. And of course, penguins prefer to swim rather than walk. That little tail wag is so cute, and that behavior is seen very regularly when they come out of the water.
Watch out for southern ground hornbills. If you see one, then a curse could befall you. Seeing a hyena could bring out the witches, and spotting a snake track could give you a rash. On Friday the 13th of May, WildEarth will be setting off on a special unlucky safari, where we search for things that bring bad luck. Are these just mythical superstitions, or could they be true? Join us to find out.
If you are a WildEarth explorer, we have exciting news for you.
The winner of this month's prize giveaway will win a hamper full of Explorer merchandise.
Like this fantastic t-shirt that comes in plenty of great colors, a very useful tote bag, or even a cap.
For those in the southern hemisphere that's heading into winter, a sweatshirt to keep you warm.
Head over to the WildEarth Explorers page. Sign up to be a WildEarth Explorer and you could win all of these goodies.
WildEarth, it's in your nature.
On the beach for quite a long period of time. Looks like it's assessing its possible routes off this island of sea bamboo. Little penguin hop. Flippy and I came down to the left wing today and we found something that is very interesting. First, we had this very strong smell of fish as we walk past a certain area, and the wind blew the smell towards us. I could smell this very, very strong fishy smell. And just look at what we have found. What I'm holding there appears to be the pectoral fin of a fish. Look how cool that is. And if I investigate a little bit further, these look like fish scales as well. And this is still quite wet. It's drying out now in the sun, but when we arrived here, it was very, very wet, indicating that this scat was quite fresh. And this is the scat, or typical scat, of a Cape clawless otter. So you'll notice that exactly where I am sitting here is a small little pathway that goes all the way up into the bushes, and that will head into the wetlands. There's a vlei or little shallow lake called Grootvlei, and this little pathway will take that Cape clawless otter all the way up to the wetlands. And I'm sure that this otter hunts here in the sea as well as in the wetland area. If I look a little bit in front of me, let's see here. What I have here is some old otter scat, and this is quite dry. You can see I can break it quite easily, and this is actually some crab shell. So very, very cool. I'm going to bring this fin just a little bit closer and see if we can have a good look at it. This otter has definitely had a very nice snack. A little bit tricky to get in focus. I'm trying my best not to let the wind blow it off my hand. How's that, Flippy? Looking good. So how cool is that to see the indigestible parts of the otter's prey? I have to make a very quick catch there as the wind blows it. Being released here in its middens. Very, very cool. I would love to see a Cape clawless otter. They are mostly crepuscular and are found active mainly in the early mornings and in the evenings, but you can see them at all times of day as well. I do have a couple of friends that go otter watching, and they always go early in the morning with a cup of coffee and sit around estuarine environments and try to see if they can spot these elusive animals. It is always nice to see signs of animals as well. You don't always have to see them. It's nice to see telltale signs of them. And it is very easy to identify otter middens because there's always going to be fish and crab fragments that are indigestible found in the scat. We're heading back to the sunbathing penguins in the core area of the left wing. And they, most of them at least, have not moved an inch. Standing in the same spots, preening away.
Hello, my name is Byron Lobster and I am a naturalist on the Penguin Beach Show based down at Stony Point in Betty's Bay. It is so awesome to be able to interact with viewers internationally, get to know people, answer questions, and promote the conservation of this very special little species, the African penguin. My favorite types of questions to receive from viewers on the show are the more challenging questions. I really enjoy it when I don't know the answer to a question and I have to go back and research the answer and provide feedback to the viewer. I find that really, really awesome because we learn in the process. If you would like to ask me any questions, you need to register on the WildEarth website. Once registered, you can ask your questions under the live feed. Catch up with me on WildEarth Daily.
You'll notice that the breeding pair are very happy to be close together, but as soon as individuals that have not linked up come in close proximity to one another, there is conflict. And we saw just a little bit of conflict take place behind those two lovebirds. It looks like the majority of these individuals either haven't found their partners or are in the very early stages of the breeding season. That individual's looking quite concerned. Looked like it tried to make itself a little bit smaller by standing upright and nearly elongating its body to make sure that it didn't get pecked as it ran the gauntlet between that group of individuals. Nice and safe, and does have a very nice coloration, well, not coloration, a nice patch of black plumage under the chin and above the breastband. Can't seem to make up its mind currently and seems to be causing some disturbance to the other individuals. They generally live in harmony, but as soon as the personal bubble is breached, it can change to chaos very, very quickly, with lots of bulls going in different directions, trying to peck at the intruder. It seems that order has been restored, and even the couple are settling down and starting to alloprene and relax nicely. Maybe we'll get lucky and observe this pair copulate. Look how awesome that behavior is. Mutual.
Hukamore. Oh, here's an impressive looking male leopard. Look at that neck on him. He just looks ready for a fight.
This is only the third time that we are seeing him that is known as the Hukamori male, and he certainly has a lot of character and atmosphere.
This is gorgeous. Hukamuri having a drink at one of the little seasonal pans.
Isn't he absolutely gorgeous? Compact, powerful, focused. I love it.
Breeding season here at Stony Point already. No copulating just yet, and the lovebirds have relaxed again in the sun. We've still got the naughty individual running around at the back with a nice patch of black throat feathers. Dark Mane Lover, thank you so much for that question. How many times does a penguin chick's heartbeat per minute? Dark Mane Lover, I have absolutely no clue, and I'm going to have to research that and get back to you on tomorrow's show. I must say that is a fantastic question. I'm looking for to phone a friend at the moment. But I think I would be definitely voted off the weakest link. That is an excellent question. You definitely have me stumped for sure. Let's see what I can come up with tomorrow. How many times does an African penguin's chick's heart beat per minute? Now I'm fascinated to find out the answer. There were some unanswered questions from yesterday's show, and Cassandra wanted to know how many egret species occur globally. And there are exactly 11 species of egret throughout the world. And then there was another very nice question asking about what endangered animals live in the rock pools. And that was from Arctic Circle. In Arctic Circle, there's a species of sea snail known as abalone or palamon locally that is endangered. And then there's the West Coast rock lobster, whose numbers are also declining. And the West Coast rock lobster is a very important prey item for the bank cormorant. And as you know, the bank cormorants are endangered, and their distribution and survival depends largely on the presence of the West Coast rock lobster. And then there are also giant turban shells known as alikrekkel that are in decline and are not endangered, but the ways that we fish for them have been regulated. It's a very, very nice question, and this habitat definitely holds some endangered species.
Look at that, there's a tiny leopard cub. Karula has given birth overnight. Look at the little guy, we just came around the corner. That is incredible, that's probably his first solo kill.
Oh, and have a look, here comes Osana with the monitor lizard.
Osana, of course, at the same time decided to go climbing up the tree. He's just nearly fallen out of it again.
Look at that, he's running away. The buffalo is chasing Osana at the moment. Run away from this very big animal coming. That was so funny.
All WildEarth explorers have a chance to join our naturalists in a monthly fireside chat. This is a great way to learn more about our guides, animal characters, and wildlife locations. We would love to hear from you as to the topics that interest you the most. Email us your ideas or tweet using the hashtag WildEarth, and we will be sure to take them into account when planning our evenings around the fire in the future. WildEarth explorers, it's in your nature.
Moving around. We've just had two individuals come out of the ocean and join this group of penguins, and they were met with a number of very aggressive pecks. Shame, that wasn't very nice. What a way to come back from spending your time offshore, straight onto land and straight into the sharp bill of an African penguin. Amy, thank you so much for your comment, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed the Penguin Beach Show. It's always fantastic to be down here with you and share all the excitement and interactions from all the various species down here. And I hope to see you down here again tomorrow with us. Shame those poor individuals. I wonder how far they swam just to come back to land and be met with some penguin aggression. Looks like all has settled down, at least when penguins get into conflict with one another. It's not very long-lasting and is usually short-lived. Everyone seems happy and more evenly distributed as I say that. We have I can't remember, it was the Juvedalt getting harassed and has moved to the periphery of the group. So the bullying is not yet quite over for this younger individual. Oh, it really has been a fantastic Penguin Beach show. I must say, out of everything that happened today, the highlight for me was that little Egyptian goose chick from the Crazy Nine jumping onto Cleopatra's back. It was very, very cool and such an awesome interaction. It's nearly time for the sunset safari, of course, down up in the Lowveld, and Tessa, Liam and Chris are waiting for everyone there, and how exciting that is. They are going to follow up on the leopards that were seen this morning and also look through the bush to see any of the smaller items. From myself.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.